Everybody, today we are doing our first book club meeting for The 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teenagers by Covey. It's an amazing book. If you've read up to this point, right now we are at part 2, the personal victory chapter. And so far, it's been a lot of interesting talk about the lens that we view the world through and ourselves through, and the values and principles that we base our life off of. What I thought was really cool was that sometimes we forget with our teenage students how much they're just young adults, and they go through a lot of the same stresses and concerns about maybe even money, or about pleasing different people, or pressure that's put on them from different people, or stress about themselves, their situation, or how others are viewing them, their peers. So it's really relatable to adults. You're struggling with a lot of the same personal battles that a lot of adults continue to struggle with. And if we can find out those solutions early, and as a kid, as a teen, as a young adult, then you're setting yourself up for so much success. So take a lot of this into account, everything that you read in these first couple of chapters, and find out what it means to you. There's lots of stories about how a person's situation can change their point of view. They talk about a girl whose friend was acting a lot different over the last couple of weeks, and the girl is just thinking, why is my friend acting like this? And she's kind of mad at her until she finds out a couple of days later that she's going through a huge struggle at home, divorce of her parents, and now she just feels awful and understands why her friend might be acting some type of way. So it's pretty interesting. It made me think of an old Chinese proverb that was taught to me by one of my martial arts instructors. That's about an old man. I don't know why he has to be an old. I don't know if he was old, but I say an old man and his horse. And the old man lost his prized horse, and his neighbor says to him, "Oh man, you lost your horse. That's how you feed your family, is the money you make off of that horse. That's awful. How unlucky for you." And the old man says, of course he's old, he's like, maybe so, maybe not. A couple of days go by, and that horse runs in with like 5 other prized stallions, and now he had only one awesome horse. Now he has 5 awesome horses. So his neighbor says to him, "Wow, you're gonna be able to make so much more money. You are so lucky." And the old man says, "Yeah, maybe so, maybe not." A couple of days go by, and the old man's son jumps on one of the horses to break him in so that he can not be a wild horse anymore, and he can be a regular horse. And he falls off the horse, it bucks him off, he hits the ground and breaks his leg. And his neighbor goes, "Oh my gosh, your son broke his leg. That's horrible. That is so unlucky for you." And the old man says, "Yeah, maybe so, maybe not." And another couple of days go by. This is the last one, by the way. Another couple of days go by, and the military, the soldiers march into town, and they're taking all of the men of the right age, and they're making them go to war. And they didn't pick out the old man's son because he had a broken leg. So they moved on, and his neighbor says to him, "Oh my gosh, your son didn't have to fight in the war. You are so lucky." And again, the man with the immovable mind is like, maybe so, maybe not. So it just goes to show us that things aren't always how they seem, and your situation is all based off of how you perceive it. It's the old adage that life is kind of 10% what actually happens to you, and 90% how you react to it. It's like putting on a different pair of glasses, right? And the lens that you see things through is how you understand it. And if you understand it that way, then that is your reality. So if you're able to spin your situation into somewhat more of a positive, or see it in a logical sense, that everything still can be okay regardless of what might be going on. Things could always be worse, and that's something, it's a little pessimistic, but that's the truth. Things could always be worse, even if things are going pretty bad at a particular time. So what also really helped, and I thought was interesting, was that he talked about having more of a principle-based life instead of being so centered around pressure from your teachers or whatever your life goal is, and getting so stuck on that is where you center yourself. And if you center yourself on these other like external things, then a lot of times you're not going to be able to find that happiness that you want or contentness, because you're basing your own happiness off of the happiness of your partner or your friend or your success in a particular area. But if you just fully embrace principles that you value and care about, and that is how you base your identity on, things like loyalty, things like hard work or honesty or balance is a really important one that they talked about, that I think those are some of the most important ones that you could do, or like our code words for martial arts: discipline, honor, respect, focus, courage, quality, things like this. If you focus on those values, then those victories along the way, they're going to naturally happen. And victory, for the split moment that it happens, you win your big tournament, the victory really only lasts in that moment that you win, which is a special feeling. But once it's said and done, you wake up the next day, you have another victory that you can try and conquer. So if you base your life off of principles and not off of accolades, then you'll find that you're a lot more happy. The other final part I'll leave you with that I thought was really profound is that before you win a big public victory, you have to first win a private victory. There's a private battle that you're fighting within yourself. If you're practicing for that next tournament, and you're getting down your footwork and your hand speed and your kicks and your flexibility, the victory before that fight or sparring match is won before you even showed up, because it's all about all that work that you put in. The victory was actually won in those weeks leading up to it, when you had those values every day and you had the consistency to progress before that actual event. So I think that's huge, and that's something to focus on. You have to look inward before you can get a victory outwardly. So the victory happens within, the victory happens with our hard work and staying focused on what's important to us. So that's what I took out of that first section of the Sean Covey 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens. I am far from a teen. I'm super old now. I got the gray hairs coming in, but it still makes a lot of sense to me. And it's still just a good refresher and reminder of how to tune your mind, how to set your mind so that that mindset can keep you content, can keep you fulfilled, and can help you ultimately reach those goals, but making those goals not like the end all be all for yourself, finding, that little bit of balance in focusing on what's important to us. So read the book. If you haven't checked it out or got a copy yet, get that book. There's a couple worksheets in there that we're going to do, and a lot of fun stuff to come up ahead. Put the comments in the section below. Let me know what you thought of the book, or if there's any other takeaways that really meant a lot to you, and I'll talk to you guys soon.